The elevator doors slid open with a soft ding. My mother stepped out first, arms wide like she already owned the place. My father right behind her, dragging 2 pink suitcases, and my sister Emily trailing with that smug little smile she'd perfected since high school. "Surprise, honey," Mom sang, spinning in the marble foyer of my penthouse. "We decided Emily's moving in with you, permanently." I stood frozen by the floor-to-ceiling windows, the city lights glittering 47 floors below, clutching the one thing they hadn't noticed yet, the black Amex in my hand that actually paid for all of this. My name is Zura, and this is the night everything they thought they knew about me shattered into a million pieces. They didn't knock. They never knocked. Dad dropped the suitcases with a dramatic thud that echoed off the Italian stone floors. "Look at this view," he boomed, marching straight to the windows like a general surveying conquered land. "Told you our little investment in your education would pay off one day." Emily was already kicking off her shoes, claiming territory. "God, Ava, this place is insane," she said, running her fingers along the custom quartz island in the kitchen. "Way too big for one person. You're literally wasting money living alone." Mom nodded, already opening cabinets like she was doing inventory. "We'll put Emily in the east bedroom. It has that huge walk-in closet she needs for her influencer stuff. And don't worry, sweetie, we already told the landlord it's a family emergency. He said it's fine." I felt my pulse in my throat. There was no landlord. There never had been. I opened my mouth, then closed it. Because the truth was going to hurt them so beautifully, I wanted to savor every second before I dropped it. 6 months ago, I was still the family disappointment. The quiet one, the shy one. The one who wasted her computer science degree on some boring desk job, while Emily chased sponsorships and ring lights. They never asked what I actually did. They never asked how I could afford first-class flights I never posted about, or why I stopped asking them for money after senior year of college. They just assumed I was struggling, quietly jealous of Emily's success. So when I told them I'd bought a place in the city, they laughed. Mom actually laughed out loud on the phone. "With what money, honey? Your little coding job?" Emily had posted a crying, laughing emoji under the family group chat. They pictured some cramped one-bedroom in Queens, maybe. Not the top 3 floors of the newest luxury tower in Manhattan. Not the one with biometric locks, private elevator, and my name, my actual legal name, etched into the deed they were about to see. Dad was already raiding the wine fridge. "Jesus, Ava, this bottle costs more than my car payment," he said, holding up a 2016 Screaming Eagle like he'd discovered treasure. "You've been holding out on us." Emily flopped onto the white leather sectional that cost more than her entire sponsored wardrobe. "Ground rules," she announced, stretching like a cat. "I get the big bathroom, and you can't bring guys over when I'm live streaming. My brand is aspirational single girl in the city, okay? No random dudes ruining my vibe." I finally found my voice. "Emily, what makes you think you're staying here?" She rolled her eyes so hard I heard it. Because Mom and Dad said your building allows family members in emergency situations, and my lease got terminated because of black mold or whatever. You're literally my sister. It's not a big deal." Mom chimed in, already unpacking Emily's makeup into my guest bathroom. "It's only temporary, Ava. 6 months, tops, until Emily's brand deals pick up again. You know how the algorithm has been brutal lately." Dad cracked open the wine, pouring 3 glasses, not 4. He never poured one for me. Old habits. I took a slow breath, tasting the moment. "Mom, Dad, Emily, sit down." They ignored me. Emily was already taking selfies with the skyline behind her. "Guys, sit down." Something in my voice finally cut through the noise. They turned. Slowly. I walked to the hallway console, opened the drawer, and pulled out the leather portfolio I'd been waiting to show them for years. Inside, the deed, the mortgage statement, paid in full, the title insurance with my name in bold, and one more thing, a single photograph I'd printed just for tonight. I laid it all on the coffee table like a royal flush. Emily snorted first. "What is this? Your nerd paperwork collection?" Then she saw the address on the deed. Her face changed like someone yanked the plug. "No," she whispered. Mom leaned over, squinting. Then her hand flew to her mouth. Dad just stared, wine glass frozen halfway to his lips. Because right there, in 12-point font, that might as well have been a scream. Property owner, Zura Malik, Sole, and separate property. Purchased November 3rd, 2024. Purchase price, $28,400,000 cash. I watched the color drain from their faces, one shade at a time, and I smiled, the first real smile I'd given them in years. "Welcome to my home," I said softly. "Now get the hell out." The silence that followed was so thick you could taste metal. Emily recovered first, because of course she did. "This is a joke," she laughed, high and brittle. "Some kind of prank filter on the paperwork. Cute, Ava, really mature." I didn't answer. I just slid the photograph across the table. It was taken 3 weeks ago. Me, standing on this very terrace, shaking hands with the developer himself, a man whose net worth has 12 zeros. Behind us, a banner, sold, Penthouse, A and B, Malik. Emily's manicure scraped the photo as she snatched it. Her mouth opened, then closed. Mom finally whispered, "Where did you get this kind of money?" I leaned back against the kitchen island, arms crossed. "Remember when you told me coding was a waste of time? That I should have gone to beauty school like Emily because at least that makes money people can see?" Dad tried to interrupt. I raised a hand. "Remember when I asked to borrow $10,000 for a stupid certification and you said no because Emily needed new ring lights?" Mom's eyes filled with tears, the guilty kind. I wasn't done. "Remember when I stopped coming home for holidays because work was crazy? You assumed I was lying to avoid you. I let that land. That boring desk job you loved mocking. I built an AI startup in college. Sold it last year for $42 million. Emily made a choking sound. 40? You're lying. I pulled out my phone, opened the banking app, and turned the screen toward them. Balance, $38,291,447.12. Emily's knees actually buckled. She sat down hard on the suitcase she'd dragged in. Dad found his voice, hoarse. "Why didn't you tell us?" The question I'd waited years to answer. "Because every time I tried, you changed the subject to Emily's follower count." Mom was crying openly now. We thought you were struggling. You never said." "I stopped saying because you never listened." I walked to the elevator and pressed the button. The doors slid open, waiting. "I gave you 30 seconds to leave on your own. That was 25 seconds ago." Emily stood up, trembling with rage. "You can't do this. We're family." Family doesn't assume they can move into a home they didn't pay for. Dad tried the reasonable dad voice. "Ava, sweetheart, let's talk about this calmly." "No." One word. Cold. Final. Mom reached for me, tears streaming. "Please. Emily has nowhere to go." "Then maybe stop paying for her lifestyle and let her figure it out like I did." Emily's face twisted into something ugly. "You think money makes you better than us now?" "No," I said quietly. "But it makes this my house, and you're not welcome in it." Dad grabbed the suitcases, face red. "This isn't over, Ava." I smiled again. "Oh, it's been over for years. You just didn't notice." They shuffled toward the elevator like zombies. Emily turned at the doors, eyes blazing. "You're going to die alone in this cold apartment. You know that?" The doors began to close. "Maybe," I said, "but at least I'll die owning something." The elevator descended. I stood in the sudden silence of my 47th floor kingdom, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel small. But they weren't done with me yet. Not even close. Because 2 days later, the real war began. My phone started blowing up at 6:03 a.m. Unknown numbers. Aunts I hadn't spoken to in a decade. Even my high school math teacher somehow got dragged in. The family group chat, renamed "We Need to Talk About Ava," had 247 new messages. I scrolled, coffee cooling in my hand. Mom had written a novel. "You have broken your mother's heart. After everything we sacrificed for you, Emily is sleeping on a friend's couch because of your cruelty. I am ashamed to call you my daughter." Emily posted a tear-streaked selfie with the caption, "When your own sister chooses money over family, guess blood isn't thicker than water anymore." It already had 40,000 likes. My inbox filled with messages from strangers calling me a monster. Then came the voicemail from Dad, left at 3 a.m., slurring. "You think you're hot stuff now? We made you. Without us, you'd be nothing. You owe us, Ava. You owe us everything." I stared out at the sunrise bleeding pink over Central Park and felt nothing. No guilt, no panic, just the cold, clear certainty I'd been waiting for my whole life. They wanted to play victim? Fine. I'd give them a villain origin story they'd never forget. I called my assistant, Priya. Drop the NDA on the journalist from page 6. Tell them the exclusive is theirs, but only if they run it tomorrow. Priya didn't even blink. Full financial disclosure? Everything. Receipts, screenshots, the works. By noon, the article went live. Headline, Tech Prodigy, 26, cuts off family. After they try to move, entitled influencer sister into $28 million penthouse without asking, the internet exploded. Emily's followers turned on her like sharks smelling blood. Her biggest brand deal, some teeth whitening company, dropped her within hours. Justice for Zura trended in 12 countries, but my family wasn't done fighting dirty. That night, Emily showed up at my building lobby with a camera crew, live streaming, crying. Ava, please, she sobbed to the lens. I just want to talk. I'm your sister. The doorman called me. I watched the feed from the Penthouse security system. 10,000 people watching her perform. I pressed the intercom. Emily. Her head snapped up. Take your circus and leave, or I'll have security remove you for trespassing. The chat went wild. She screamed up at the camera, You're heartless? No, I said calmly. I'm just done being your ATM. I killed the feed. Then I did something I'd been dreaming about for years. I changed every phone number they had, blocked every email, erased them like bad code. For 3 days, there was silence. Beautiful, pure silence. Then Mom showed up alone. No camera, no performance, just my mother, standing in the lobby in the same coat she'd worn to my college graduation, the one she'd complained was too cheap for photos with Emily. The doorman buzzed me. She looked small on the security screen, broken. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I took the elevator down. When the doors opened, she looked up with red-rimmed eyes. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I waited. I was wrong, about everything. We were wrong. I still didn't speak. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small, worn photo album, the one from when I was little, before Emily, before the comparison started. I brought this, she said, voice cracking, because I wanted you to remember when you were my whole world. My throat tightened. She opened it to a page I hadn't seen in 20 years. Me at 6 years old, missing both front teeth, holding a future CEO certificate from some elementary school play. On the bottom, in her handwriting, my brilliant girl, the sky isn't big enough for you. I stared at those words until they blurred. Then I looked at her. That girl grew up, I said quietly. And you stopped believing in her the day Emily learned how to cry on camera. Mom flinched like I'd slapped her. I know, she whispered. I know what we did. I know what I let happen. She held out the album. I don't expect forgiveness. I needed you to know I see you now, even if it's too late. I took the album. Our fingers brushed. For 1 second, I was 6 again. Then I stepped back. It is too late, I said. The elevator doors closed between us. I rode up alone, clutching that album like it weighed 1,000 pounds. When I reached the penthouse, I opened it on the kitchen island. Page after page of me, before they forgot. I cried then. Hard, not for them, for the little girl who used to believe her parents hung the moon. But crying doesn't change facts, and the fact was, they'd chosen, years ago, over and over, they'd chosen. So now I chose too. 6 months later, the city had moved on. Emily's accounts were shadow banned into oblivion. Dad took a second job driving Uber. Mom sold the house to cover Emily's remaining sponsored debts. They never contacted me again. I heard through a cousin that Emily was working retail now, that she cried in the break room when someone recognized her. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel pain. I just felt free. One night, I stood on the terrace where this all began. Same skyline, different woman. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it. Then I saw the message. I was wrong about everything. I don't expect you to reply. I just needed to say it. I'm proud of you, Zora, even if I don't deserve to be. Mom. I stared at those words for a long time. Then I typed one line. I hope one day you're proud of both your daughters. I hit send. Then I block the number. Some wounds don't need reopening to heal. They just need space and time, and the quiet knowledge that you finally stood up for the one person who was always there for you, yourself. I poured a glass of wine, the same bottle Dad had opened that night, raised it to the city lights. To the girls who were never the favorite, I whispered, may we build empires anyway. What would you do if this happened to you? Tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching Revenge Cut. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of betrayal, justice, and redemption. Until next time, stay strong and never stop believing in your truth.